From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Today is Friday. We made it to the weekend. Today is Veterans Day, and we appreciate your being with us on this holiday. A holiday for many, a day to observe and thank our veterans. Remember those who have passed on and thank those who are still with us, and we appreciate the work being done by those still in active duty of all branches of military service. We thank you very much. Well, today is Friday. It is the 11th of November, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
Today is Veterans Day, and a day observed as a holiday, and many people are off today. In fact, the courthouse is closed today, the City Hall is closed today, city and county offices are closed, the Wayne County Public Library is closed, the Services on Aging's Senior Center, the Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center is closed.
Solid waste.
And the Solid Waste Department, the landfill, and convenience centers are closed today. Okay, now the landfill and convenience centers will reopen tomorrow, of course. All right. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Are you ready for the parade?
Bring on the parade, oh boy. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a great parade. It starts at 11 o'clock on Center Street, downtown Goldsboro. I hope you're able to attend. It will be a nice, long, patriotic parade. I love it. I love it. And, of course, the beginning of January 20th, we'll be swearing in a new president of the United States and looking for great things to happen. So it's a rebirth, if you will, a new time. So we start over again, right? And so things are really looking great for America, and we're moving ahead. Now, what's going on? Is this still good?
What's going on? No.
Okay, we'll just forget
It's
that.
not.
All right, maybe we'll get that.
The Senior Center
What's
has
going
a
on?
country fall dance that has been rescheduled. Come in your overalls or jeans and join the Goldsboro Parks and Recs, Goldsboro Family Y, and the Wayne County Service on Aging at the Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center on Friday, November the 18th at 7 p.m.
That's a week from today.
for the country fall dance.
The country fall dance.
Yes.
Yeehaw.
DJ Wildheart will play all the favorites.
I love her.
Refreshments will be served.
Oh boy.
The dance is free and open to anyone age 50 and older.
50? They're going to let the kids in?
Yep.
Oh boy. All right, well, watch yourself, okay?
For more information, you can contact Stacia Fields at 919-739-7486 or Rob Phillips at 919-731-1589.
So, again, 50 and above. So be careful around these youngsters. Make sure you don't step on one. Okay. Oh, that's yours. Is this mine?
No, actually, you can share with me.
Oh, can I share?
You can
oh,
share.
Boy. Well, here, I'll split them in half with you. How's that? November is Career Readiness Testing Month. And Wayne County residents have several opportunities, many chances, to take the Work Keys tests for the National Career Readiness Certificate. Now, some of these have already passed. The first of the month, they had some of these tests taken. Now, the Wayne Occupational Readiness Keys for Success, WORKS, program, providing testing sessions at 8:30 till 12:30 on November 29th. November 29th. And from 12:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon on November 17th. All these sessions will be held in room 136 of the Walnut Building at Wayne Community College on the main campus here in Goldsboro. Pre-registration is required and can be made by calling 919-739-7004. 739-7004. Cost to take these 3 skill assessments is $36, but assistance to cover that cost may be available if you need help with that. These 3 skill assessments include applied mathematics, locating information, and reading for information. The Airman and Family Readiness Center on base at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base offering free assessments to military personnel and their dependents. Now you can call the base at 919-772-1123, 772-1123 for more information about that and to go ahead and register for these assessments. If you wish to prepare for the NCRC, those wishing to prepare for the NCRC may take advantage of the self-directed instruction and skills upgrade training offered in the Works Laboratory, the Works Lab. And that's also in room 136 of the Walnut Building at Wayne Community College. The lab is open from 9 till noon, Mondays through Thursdays, and then 1 to 4 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then 5 to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. And you know all about this, don't you?
Well, yeah,
You know
in
a lot
a way.
about it. You know a lot about
It's
it.
very important.
It is important. Because you
A
told
lot
me.
of a lot of jobs are wanting the career readiness certificates.
Yeah.
They
Your-
look for it.
Your future employer will ask
Yes.
you if you have that certificate. And if you have that certificate, that's a big plus.
It is.
What are the four areas again?
There's 4 levels. It's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Yes. Bronze is your high.
Is that for the high jump or is that for the broad?
The high.
The high. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Counselors are still at the Peggy Seeger Senior Center helping you with your Medicare Part D, D for drugs, medications. If you're confused, or your plan has changed, they can help you with this. All you have to do is just go by on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, anytime between 9 a.m. and noon p.m., and tell them that you need help deciding which plan is best for you. They do not have a dog in this fight, so they're not going to try to sway you one way or the other in anybody's favor. They will try to help you realistically find the best plan that fits your needs. Okay? Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday from 9 till noon at the Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center on East Ash Street. That's 2001 East Ash Street. Christmas parades. We got parades like crazy around here. Christmas
Let's
parades.
back up.
What are we going to back up and say?
Well, let's talk about the veterans.
Oh, let's talk about veterans. We're going to talk about veterans now.
You
Can we
know,
talk about veterans?
The parade is at 11
Parade's at
today.
11 today.
And immediately after the parade, the DAR will be at the Wayne County Museum with a reception. And then at 1 o'clock at the Veterans Memorial, they will have the remembrance.
That's exactly right. The remembrance at 1 o'clock at the memorial. A very solemn moment. And, of course, we would encourage you to attend that. We would. Including the reception at the museum. And we were over and talking to Rebecca Fitzgerald, who's the new executive director of the museum. And she's got everything all worked out and decorated up on the 2nd floor, and that's where it'll be. And it's going to be nice. It's really nice. I want you to see this. She's really good. An artist went in there. What was his name? Don Sutton. Don Sutton has done an amazing job making. The word posters really doesn't do it justice. These are truly great works of art. I wish you could see it. The theme is movies. World War II, World War I, movies. The heroes that were portrayed, many from Wayne County. You got to see it. It's on the 2nd floor of the Wayne County Museum, and you can see it later today after the Veterans Day Parade at the Wayne County Museum. Meetings. We have meetings. We have lots and lots of meetings. Perry Como. except he said letters. We have letters.
What kind of meetings we got?
We got the Veterans Day Parade, of course, at 11 today. We have tomorrow the Military Order of Purple Heart having their meeting. That's Chapter 657. We'll meet at 1000 at the DAV office, Disabled American Veterans Office, at 212 East Mulberry Street in Goldsboro. That's the DAV office, 212, and that will happen at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. On the 17th, which is, I think, probably next Thursday, the Fleet Reserve Association, Tar River Branch 204, will have their meeting at the American Legion Hut on Highway 117 south, just south of the fairgrounds. Also, the American Legion Post 11 will have their meeting at the same location beginning at 7:30. So the Fleet Reserve Association meeting will begin at 7, and the American Legion Post 11 meeting will begin at 7:30. That's on the 17th next week.
Don't forget that. Gateway is still honoring free bus rides to all veterans all the way through tomorrow. All you have to have is your military ID or your DD-214 with a photo ID.
That's exactly right. And you can ride any Gateway transit bus anywhere that bus route takes you. Anytime, today and tomorrow, free of charge. All right.
Yes, sir.
Good job. Let's go to our interview up next. Up next, okay. We're talking to Rebecca now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebecca Fitzgerald, the executive director of the Wayne County Museum, and she will give us an idea of what we can expect during this afternoon's visit to the museum. Today we're in one of my favorite places here in Goldsboro and Wayne County. We're in the Wayne County Museum, formerly the USO building of years ago, but this is a fantastic place just to go and learn about Wayne County and learn about things in general. We're talking with Rebecca Fitzgerald, right?
Yes.
All right, Rebecca, it's great to see you, finally meet you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are
And you are the new director here at the
Yes.
museum. And from where do you hail?
I'm from the metropolis of Princeton in Johnston County.
Gigantic Princeton,
Oh, yeah.
the metropolis of.
The metropolis.
Right. Okay, so you're the director. How did you become director of the Wayne County Museum? What's your background?
Well, it's relatively short. I graduated from the University of Mount Olive in May, and I had been working part-time at the Bentonville battlefield for almost 2 years. And then I was like, well, I'm graduating, kind of need a job after graduation, and so I applied a few places, and they accepted me here. And I started working over the summer.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, what did you do at Bentonville?
I was a part-time historic interpreter, so I was giving tours of
Were
the
you?
Harper House, doing research, all kinds of visitor services tasks.
That's fascinating.
It was a lot of fun.
So the Bentonville was the battle immediately after Battle of Goldsboro Bridge. Is that correct?
No, there's a little bit of time in between.
Was there time in between? Okay.
The Battle of Goldsboro Bridge is in 1862,
Right.
and Bentonville is not until the end of the war in 65.
Oh, there was a lot of time between the two there.
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
Okay, all right. But anyway, I digress. We're going back to the Wayne County Museum here. And the Wayne County Museum is quite a collection
Yes.
of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Now, since this program is running today, which happens to be, what is today? Today's Friday, isn't it? Today is Friday, all right? And today is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Here on the second floor of the Wayne County Museum, you have a veterans display set up.
Yes.
Tell us about this. How did you happen to get the ideas for what you're doing, what you have here?
So we have another display downstairs. It's our timeline of Wayne County, and we had lots of local artists who took a little chunk of time and displayed it in their own art form.
Okay.
And one of those artists' name is Don Sutton. He's a local artist here. But he came by and introduced himself one day, and he showed me some of his artwork, and he has obviously a military theme going.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what, let's have this on display for Veterans Day, make it, a big hoopla. We're going to have the DAR here for a meeting anyway. They're going to have festivities after the parade. Might as well have your artwork here too.
Perfect.
So over the past month, we've been working hard with descriptions and getting them printed and displays and how we're going to set them up, and ta-da, it is done.
The displays that are set up here, these are movies and such, right? This is fantastic. 37 Germans from World War I. 1940s, The Greatest Generation there, featuring, of course, Colonel James Stewart, who went on to become, who was actually in the Air Force and went on to become a hero, an American hero, a true-to-life hero during World War II. Went on, of course, he interrupted his movie career to do that. Went on to become a general in the reserves and was flying for many years thereafter. But fascinating. Then, of course, back here behind us, a lot of people know the story of The Great Escape, a fantastic movie, a blockbuster, award-winning movie with a large number of stars in it, including the gentleman that portrayed Booty Lewis, who was an American hero from right here in Wayne County.
Yes.
And it goes on. I see a John Wayne movie here. John Wayne, of course, there's Mr. Roosevelt up in the corner there. Tommy Dorsey, thank you very much. He and his brother, of course, Tommy played trombone. But here on this side, you can't see this side, it's a poster of the movie Patton.
And it's not just our soldiers who are represented either, it's also who they left at home. So it's a wide variation, and it's a monument to not just the soldiers, but also their wives, their families, whomever they left at home.
Yes.
Whomever, was just left to remember them if they didn't come back.
And it was such a different time. It didn't have the connection that we have nowadays. You can pick up the telephone and call overseas. Now, you couldn't do that back then. You couldn't see, you couldn't get the immediate contact with those military folks who were overseas protecting our rights and saving our nation. So was all this your idea? This was great.
Well, I can't take all the credit. Don Sutton did most of the work.
Okay. Well, okay. Thanks, Don.
But the display, that was my idea. I wanted to make it so it was accessible to everyone. We do have the exhibit downstairs, but this is, a feature. The DAR will be meeting upstairs, so I wanted it to kind of all be together for the festivities today.
And this will be immediately after the Veterans Day Parade downtown. That starts at 11 o'clock in Goldsboro, and of course the Veterans Day Parade will end, and then you can come right over here to the DAR Reception on the second floor here at the Wayne County Museum. I see you moved the dollhouse upstairs.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites as well. But you have so many things in here. Now, things that are not necessarily veteran related right now. Tell me about some of the things we're looking at here.
So you're looking at a lot of different things. You also have several things that you're not seeing. We have several rooms in this house that are full of items from Wayne County's history that we don't have the facilities to display all of them at the same time. But we highlight different businesses that have been in Goldsboro or in Wayne County, communications equipment, communication companies that are in the area.
Including WGBR.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also, in the back, we have our history of the USO, the original neon light that was hanging outside, that's here, and it actually still works.
Wow.
Yes. We also have Farm Life, all the things that make Wayne County such a great place to live.
Now, what's the admission charge to get in to visit the museum?
It's free.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Free? People can just walk in and look around?
Exactly.
Wow.
As long as we're open.
Well, yeah, you want to be open. Now, what are the hours?
We are open from 11 to 4, Tuesday through Saturday, or by appointment, because I'm here way before 11 and way after 4.
Okay, and if somebody wants to bring a group, they need to let you know in advance.
Yeah, if they want a tour, they can always give us a day's heads up. That way we can get prepared, and then we'll give them a tour.
So what are you looking at in the future as far as the museum? Are you going to continue to change the displays and move things around and bring in new things?
Yes. So right now what I really want to do is restore this as a home, first of all. Get rid of this yellow paint and paint it, redo the floors, all nice. But we're also trying to get a schedule of events and exhibits for the coming year.
Yes.
And for the most part, we've gotten that together, but we're trying to have rotating exhibits every 3 to 4 months. And then events that correspond with that, things that are for children, things that are for adults, for families. So it's a little bit, fine-tuned for everyone.
Excellent. Now, downstairs, you still have the diorama set up, the Battle of Goldsboro Bridge. You still have a lot of items and artifacts on displays from various wars. You have a lot of military artifacts from almost all the wars, including the Revolutionary War.
Exactly.
Yeah, lots of stuff. This is a fun place to go. Yeah. Great place to bring your children and teach them about the history of Wayne County, which is a varied history and a very interesting history as well.
And if any student or any student of any kind or anyone who's just interested, maybe doing genealogy, we do research here as well. So if anyone wants to do some digging into their past, then we can help them with that.
Ooh, might find a skeleton or two.
Maybe.
And never tell. All right, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, Rebecca Kinsey, who really hates yellow, well, I mean, you wanted to paint the walls,
Yes.
Get a different color here.
Yellow's bad.
Plaid, how about that?
That might be a little worse,
okay.
actually.
All right, we'll work on that. All right, Rebecca Fitzgerald is the
Executive Director of the Wayne County Museum.
That's what I was going to say. Executive Director of the Wayne County Museum, and she's been our guest today here. And I thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Right.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. Program airs every morning at 7 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and then it repeats at noon, and then repeats again at 5:30 p.m. What's going on?
What's going on, Wayne? We got a blood drive that's coming up at Goldsboro High School on November the 17th at 9:30 until 2 p.m., and that's at 901 E Beach Street in Goldsboro.
Where's that?
At the Goldsboro High School.
Oh, Goldsboro High School. There you
Yeah.
go. Okay, don't forget the 22nd is important. What's going on the 22nd, downtown Goldsboro?
It is Lights Up.
Downtown lights up. Woohoo! And that is when it is party time. It's party. It's a lot of fun. Christmas carols, holiday season, getting in the mood, getting in the spirit. And there'll be some characters there.
Not Wayne Alley.
Well, but there will be some people there. There'll be a lot of them too. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun, and we've been guaranteed snow. It's going to snow. Well,
I heard that.
It is. It's going to snow.
I did hear that.
Yeah, wait till you see how this is done. It's really kind of neat. Lots of entertainment. There's going to be
Is that the ice skating ring I heard also?
there's going to be an ice skating rink. Don't ask me how that's going to happen. I don't know. But I do know the snow. I'm familiar with that. And I think this is the first year there'll be snow. But now I'm not sure the ice skating is free. Everything else is free, but I'm not sure the ice skating is free. You'll have to find out, okay? Okay, but this is on the 22nd of November, November 22, downtown Goldsboro, in front of City Hall. That's where it all starts, and that's where it all continues. And then Mayor Chuck Allen will sweep the flitch. And downtown lights up. Here's today's trivia question.
Purple?
Category is purple. What color
Purple
is
rain?
purple? No, not purple rain, not purple rain.
Spit it out.
Billiards, pool. You shoot billiards, you shoot pool. Take a cue stick and shoot billiards or pool. Which cue ball, not cue ball, but which ball in billiards or pool is the color purple? Solid purple. That's one with a stripe. Which ball is solid, what number ball is solid purple? That's the trivia question for today. Just think about it. Pick a number.
Give us a hint. 1 through what?
1 through 4,000. No. Okay, let's say, okay, I'll make it easy. 1 through 10. All right?
Okay.
1 through 10. Now, there's more than 10 balls on a table, but I'm just trying to make it easy for you, okay? It's a solid purple. That's the trivia question. We'll have your answer in the next segment of the program, and we'll be back right after this next interview on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Our guest today is David Harris with RSM Associates Incorporated. David, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Wayne.
Appreciate you coming in. Now, we want to talk about a meeting that was held here recently and probably try and clear up some information and nail this down about about what people who have received damage and who were injured by Hurricane Matthew and the resulting flooding from that. We want to try and clear the air about a lot of information and what people can now do to try and get back to normal in the situation, perhaps even as close to as they were prior to the hurricane and flooding. So where do we start with this? What are the different ways that people can be helped? From where does that help come?
Okay. The assistance and the recovery is considered short-term and long-term. Short-term, everyone needs to register with FEMA, either at Disaster Recovery Center, online. They have a mobile app now. They've got a toll number that you can call. They have language services available if anyone needs it. That's really the trigger for everything that could happen afterwards, both short-term and long-term.
So it's important, the first thing is to get with FEMA.
Absolutely. And for some families who may have had damage but yet hadn't been flooded, they say, well, I may not need that. I'll just, use some homeowners. Well, they still would need to register with FEMA if they wanted to be considered for the long-term assistance, which could be either an elevation or a buyout. A number of people also with flood insurance, and most people know that when it comes to that financial assistance after the hurricanes, if you do not have flood insurance, then the FEMA individual household grant assistance comes in that the people are applying for. And if you have flood insurance, you use your flood insurance money to recover and to make the repairs and clean up. But even somebody with flood insurance needs to register with FEMA. Believe it or not, there are situations where that individual family grant assistance can be used with somebody in flood insurance if flood insurance winds up being unable to help them recover. But more importantly, somebody with flood insurance that wanted to be considered in either the acquisition program or the elevation program, they have to have registered with FEMA beforehand. And this is a decision, those programs aren't going to be available till probably next year, and it's too late when all that information comes out to register. Everybody needs to register now if you've had any damage. That's right.
Regardless of any damage at all, and whether you have flood insurance or not.
Keeps your options open.
Keeps your options open. Register with FEMA. Now, what I keep hearing is that there are a lot of people, some people had flood insurance, most people didn't, because we flooded in areas that nobody would ever have dreamed would flood. Wow. So, I mean, there was damage done, and who would have thought? There was so much water. So, so register with FEMA first. Now, let's break this down, acquisitions and elevation. Now, elevation would be raising the structure off the ground, raising it up. So what are we talking about here? How is that done?
Let's start with first, the process is going to be the same in terms of somebody wanting to have their property acquired or elevated, and that is the state will invite the county to submit applications for acquisition elevation assistance. Family can select which of those two. The family would be provided an application form. There's certain information they would need to provide. That information is assembled by the county, submitted to the state. They then review it, and then, of course, it goes to FEMA for approval.
Okay,
so both are going to be in that process at the same time. That person who decided they want to participate in elevation, when that's approved, then they become the center of how that project gets underway.
So the decision, they first have to make a decision which way they want to go. Now, you say acquisition, you're referring to just a buyout.
That's correct.
Where FEMA or the state or somebody pays for the property, and then the property owner relinquishes ownership and moves to another location.
Correct. Uses the proceeds from the sale to acquire another house.
Acquire another house.
Move somewhere else.
Now the proceeds from that sale must go to another house. They can't just take it and go to Tijuana or anything.
Actually, these days it is after closing, any of the restrictions or limitations that existed in years past don't apply anymore.
Really?
When they receive the check and it's in their hands, they leave it closing, that's it. There's not a tracking of them. There's not a decision as to what they do.
So they can do anything they want to do.
Right. For a number of years at closing, they actually signed a certification that they wouldn't use the funds to acquire property back in a floodplain because it kind of goes against what FEMA's and the state's trying to do. I mean,
Right.
you're being bought out because you're in a floodplain, you take that money and move back in. But they've eliminated that condition or restriction. So at closing, when they receive that check, they're on their own. They then become just like any other citizen who has sold their property to a private individual. They can take that money and do what they want. They can buy, rent, buy a camper, motor home, go to Vegas, whatever they want to do. It is their asset. They have converted that real property into cash, and they're free to do with it what they want.
So that's
now keep in mind, what I'm telling you are the guidelines that have been in place.
Yeah.
And with we're managing Hurricane Irene disaster now, that's the way it was. But with each disaster, there is some fine-tuning, tweaking, and changing of some of those guidelines. So what I can tell you is, first disasters 20 years ago, restrictions.
Right.
Disasters as of middle of 2000 up to 2011 with Irene, they had taken those off. We'll have to see what's in writing when it comes to
So it's
that.
still early then.
Typically, it becomes their funds, and that we just won't have those restrictions.
Wow. All right. Now that's a buyout or an acquisition. Then on the other hand, we have the elevation.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Let me
if they
point-
decide. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
let me put something down on the acquisition, because a lot of people are sitting here and they may be getting a little bit of assistance from FEMA, barely enough to make the repairs.
Yeah.
The house is still in deplorable condition, and they're saying, why apply with FEMA? I mean, my house isn't worth anything. I wouldn't buy it. Who would buy it? Well, the only way that an acquisition program can work, and the objective is to eliminate entirely any chance of either property damage, damage to personal property, or damage to lives in the future from a flooding event. In that case, acquisition is a 100% foolproof mitigation activity. It's not going to happen again. The only way for that to work is FEMA, and this is FEMA regulation. The county is the one that hires the appraisers, the attorneys, the surveyors. The appraiser hired by the county is going to appraise that property at pre-disaster market value. So when the appraiser goes out, they will pick October 5th or 6th. In other words, the day before any damage occurred in the state of North Carolina. The hurricane may have started in Florida, but the state will establish the date, that date. And the appraiser goes out and will appraise that property. It could be, for some families, appraisals aren't done until next spring, next summer, next year. Doesn't matter, because the value is still going to be as it was 1st of October,
Prior to the storm.
2016. So they are not going to be penalized by the fact their house is damaged, or that it's just really not in marketable condition now. They will have the benefit of the value of that property prior to all the damage taking place, which is an incentive for them, and financially, in most cases, it's the only way they'd have the money to do it, to sell it and move somewhere else.
So is it a 100% acquisition? I mean, if the house was worth $200,000, do they receive that amount of credit?
The county is obligated by statute to offer the fair market appraised value as determined by that licensed appraiser.
Okay.
No more, no less. It's not we're not buying a used car.
Right.
It's not where the county comes in, well, we could save money. Maybe we could get him down to 185 or something. No, it is, appraisal comes in at 200, offer goes to him at 200,000. Now, what's interesting is, and then it's like, okay, now what happens? Owner says, I got 200,000. Well, that sounds pretty good, but we've had properties that sold for even more than that in prior disasters. Owner says, I think it should be worth more, which is fine. All he's got to do, and at that point, he can take it or withdraw. If he wants, or third option, he can hire his own appraiser. That appraiser has to use the same standards and methodology as the county's appraiser. In other words, they have to be equal. But another appraiser can give a different opinion, even using the same appraisal standards. The homeowner has the appraisal done. It's furnished back to the county. If his appraisal is within 15%, okay, in the case of 200,000, if it's within $230,000,
Right.
the offer is immediately changed to 229. It says 229,000. It's within 15%.
Right.
There's no
haggling.
dispute, no haggling, or nothing. The program says take that appraisal less than 15%, make that the new offer. because guess what? That's what the owner has said is the value of his property. That's what we're going to offer him.
Wow.
Now, what if it comes back and the appraisal comes back at 18 or 20%? Let's say it comes back over 230,000. Then it's real simple. County hires a third appraisal. Now, the county will have paid for the first one. Owner paid for the second one.
Right.
The county's going to pay for the third one. Third appraisal is done. When that appraisal comes in, it gets even simpler. Take each of the 3 appraisals divided by 3. That becomes the offer, take it or leave it. That's it. There's no negotiating. There's no picking at it. There's no appeal. There's no appraisal board. It is purely, this is a voluntary program. The county's not required to buy it. The county doesn't have to buy it. And the homeowner doesn't have to sell it.
Got it.
All the county's obligated to do is make an offer based on objective values. And that process I described is considered an objective process. So the owner can then take that average of the 3
Average of the 3.
and say he can't go back to the one before,
Can't go back to
he can't go back to his because
230.
when it was over 15%, that became pass. How do we treat the appraisals now? We then have to have the third. It becomes the average.
Okay.
And it's that step by, now at any point, homeowner can withdraw. First appraisal, his, second, anytime. They can withdraw, they're free to, in fact, literally, the voluntary participation in this program is so literal that we could be at closing, they could have the deed to transfer the property to the county and a pen in their hand and decide not to sign it. And that's okay.
Wow. This is all voluntary.
It's all
You don't have to
voluntary.
do this.
And when they say that, there's not any like hidden situations or something comes back. It's totally voluntary. And it allows a homeowner at each of those decision points to make a decision what's in their best financial interest.
Right. It's, I can't understand why someone wouldn't take advantage, but I'm sure there would have to be someone who would have a reason of some sort, so it'd have to be a pretty valid reason.
To
But
be
it
honest with
certainly
you,
sounds like it would behoove one to take advantage of that.
yes, there's only, well, there's a number, but the 2 primary reasons, if the owner is unable to provide clear title,
Okay.
and I mean 100% clear
Yeah.
title. There can't be any clouds of title. There can't be some judgment that the attorney can't resolve. Title insurance is going to be required on behalf of the county as a purchaser, and if they cannot provide clear title, then the county is not able to purchase it. I mean, they just can't. And in fact, typically that's done we do the title opinions first and the surveys, match those 2 up. And before we get a lot further in, we identify if there could be a problem, notify the, in some cases, homeowner not even aware of it.
Okay.
They are given an opportunity to try to have it resolved. If you can't resolve it, then it's just over. We can't make an offer, can't buy it. It doesn't go anywhere. The other situation is where this happens more frequently than title issues. Homeowner gets an offer, a market value, reasonable offer that he thinks is valid, and it's for $75,000, or it may be for $65,000. They may owe $45,000 on the property. When they purchase that property, they could afford the loan. We're making the payments. Now they're at the selling point. When that person walks away with $30,000, and that could have been 15 years ago, his circumstances now might not allow him to borrow that money back. He's not going to buy a safe, decent, sanitary piece of property for $40,000.
No,
He's not going to replace that property, that house, for $40,000. And so, in a lot of cases, the people are simply in a catch-22.
Yeah.
They want the offer, they want to buy it, they think it's reasonable, but financially, they can't make the deal work because what they're getting from a reasonable offer after subtracting mortgage and so forth, or any other liens they may have, doesn't leave them enough money to really purchase another piece of property and relocate. And so they're in a catch-22. That would be, you're right, when you're looking at how fair and objective the process is in order to get them that offer, it's like the FEMA and the state's bending over backwards to try to make this happen. And the reason it's a high priority at FEMA and at the state level for acquisition. They do everything to make it work. But a person's financial situation is what they've got to be looking at when they're looking at that offer. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, then they're just, they're not able to participate. Not because they don't want to.
Yeah.
They can't afford it.
So the alternative is elevation.
Yes.
Is that the only other alternative? Oh, except
Yes.
just to do nothing?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to do nothing because
you're right back where you
you're
were.
right back where you started. So elevation. Now, if you don't have a clear title and you have to go the elevation route, do you have to have a clear title at that point, or can you just have it done?
Well, in the
Because I can't see how a title would come into play.
well, once you're either in the acquisition program or the elevation program, you can't shift from one to the other.
Okay.
So let's say the guy in acquisition, he either couldn't get clear title or he got the offer. And it's like I can't make it work. Can't afford it. How about give us some money to elevate? That's not the way it works. The person makes the decision as to whether they want to stay or go. They're going to make the decision about whether to stay or go. If they want to go, there's a buyout, and hopefully it'll work for them. If they want to stay, then it's elevation. So those two don't cross. It's not like a separate track, and then there's a point in the future where they meet.
So if you can't, if the acquisition doesn't work, you can't switch over.
Correct.
You're dead in the water.
Correct.
You can't do anything. Wow.
But for hundreds and hundreds of families, it works.
It does work.
I mean, in fact, just to give you, in Wayne County after Floyd, and I'm not sure these may be all the programs, there were over probably 150 individual residences purchased. There were another 80 plus apartments or rental mobile homes or investor owner property that was acquired. All of those became returned to their natural state, and obviously none of those families were affected by Hurricane Floyd.
Wow.
So it worked in that sense. But life's not perfect, and in spite of a program that does everything it can't reverse a person's financial situation.
Right.
It can deal with the property, the house, the value, and giving full benefit of that, but it just can't reverse if there's some other financial obstacles that the homeowner may have. I can tell you this, though, that at this point in time, there's more low-interest loan funds that would be available simply because of the market than there's been at any time we've had a major disaster.
This will be through the SBA?
Well, yeah, it could be through SBA, it could be through just standard mortgage lending. In other words, I'm telling you, the person had the mortgage and then he's got to buy something else, he's going to need to replace that mortgage. In the past, we were in situations where to do that, people were looking at a 6%, 8% interest rate, and they were sitting on a mortgage that could have been less. Well, in most cases now, the people are going to be able to get a mortgage that may be actually less than. But then they have to qualify. Things are different. Right. But so there are some, in terms of the evolution of the acquisition program, that one factor will help a number of families make that deal work.
Okay.
Because we're not talking about 8% interest rates, 6% interest rates. We're talking about much lower.
Much
so
lower.
maybe that would help. But
Okay.
and then for those that aren't, elevation.
Elevation. So what have we not covered that we do need to know about?
Just a real quick on the elevation. It's a fairly straightforward process. The county again selects professionals to manage the program, and the key one there'll be a project manager and then of course the project engineer that will design the foundations, specifications, plans, specs, floor plans, everything else, foundation diagrams, and to meet both the FEMA requirements and the state building code, and bid that work. The engineer is going to be basically the supervisor of that activity. Bids come in from qualified contractors that have done elevation work in the past, reviewed. Engineer makes recommendation to county board. Remember, this is still, It may be FEMA money, goes through the state and the county, but it is, county funds are procured, and you still follow all the same steps you would if it was county money. The county approves it, and then of course there would be a contract between the homeowner and the contractor for the work. Typically, the elevation period, it could be 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, depending on the complexity of the house. And during that period, obviously nobody's going to be able to remain in the house because all the utilities are disconnected. It's not accessible. No, we actually have had people, though, at our public meetings to get started want to know, well, can't I just still continue to live in my house? and the litany of reasons why, I mean, it'd take forever. But no, the answer is no. Real simple. No.
So,
but it's paid. If they need to rent an apartment or rent a house somewhere, the program provides an allowance that will pay the rent.
Wow.
Of that place. So they're going to be temporarily displaced. They're going to have to find a place to rent and et cetera. And the program will pay for that. Now, it's not going to pay for their utilities. It's not going to pay transportation. It's not going to pay for their meals. I mean, this is not a per diem
right.
sort of arrangement.
Allowance, is it?
This is like, okay, your biggest expense that you're going to have is your rent, is the cost of the structure. And since all FEMA's doing is working with the structure, the house they have, then that's how they equate it. All these other things, homeowners just going to have to, do what works for them.
They would be buying those things anyway. They'd be paying gas for gasoline. They'd be buying food.
Yeah, and the utilities are disconnected. And typically, utilities will work with the families on, if they're aware of the circumstances. A lot of times, yes, there is a minimum bill now in a lot of utilities. In some cases, for the locally managed systems, they'll kind of waive that because they recognize what's going on, just to kind of help. For other ones, your statewide utilities, and it's going to drop to a minimum, but that becomes their expense. The contractor's going to bring in generators to do their work.
That's
so
right. They don't need the
utilities is not an issue. Right. The house gets raised, permanent foundation lowered, utilities reconnected, and then the homeowner moves back to his home.
Wow. So it all starts with FEMA. Go to FEMA first and file with FEMA, register with FEMA, and they can tell you from that point what you need to do. Now, will the homeowner be contacted after that, or does the homeowner need to contact somebody?
In terms of
at the very beginning, after FEMA, will FEMA contact the homeowner and offer the either or, either acquisition or elevation? The
FEMA's role in that recovery, when they're registering, is simply that financial assistance that's going to come directly from FEMA, and of course referrals to SBA and et cetera, and whether it's temporary housing assistance. The HMGP, the long-term recovery, is going to come through the state and the county.
Okay.
And in essence, the state's going to establish, when the time frame is going to be to receive the application. The county then is going to work with the homeowners to collect. That's when they will be contacted. And every time we've ever had a project in 20 years, we set up meetings, anywhere, fire stations, churches, wherever they may be, and invite as many people as possible, give them that information. Other ones, and we already have now at the Disaster Recovery Center a pre-application form that will help us establish contact with everyone that signs in there. Now, there are people that have registered with FEMA online or by phone. We will be requesting that the state at least get from FEMA a list, if it's just names and addresses of the people that had registered, compare it to the list that we have from the ones from our pre-apps. We want to be able to contact those so that they are aware, because when they're registered with FEMA online or by phone, that's cleanup, that's repair, that's recovery. FEMA at that point doesn't know which community in the United States is going to participate in an acquisition elevation program. They don't know when, they don't know to what degree, at that point. So it's really not their role to try to explain that to the person. It's the role of the state and the county to be able to provide that information to the homeowners as that process unfolds. The county's been proactive in trying to identify as many as possible so that we can contact those ones at Disaster Recovery Center. We will try to obtain a list from the state for other ones that may have registered. It gets a little difficult because they can sort and so forth. A lot of that information is privileged information.
Right.
But of course, the county only wants names and addresses, phone numbers, so maybe that'll work. But even that type of effort, you still have meetings, you still put notes together. You want to make sure everybody is at least aware the process has started, what they need to do, what they need to provide. Because there's some things that they'll need to actually provide, like at the Disaster Recovery Center. You need to bring Social Security card, need to want your bank account, you know, this short list of things.
Yeah.
Well, for an application to be submitted for either the buyout or the elevation, we would need things such as the, and of course the county will have some of these, the tax parcel information, the county will get it. The substantial damage letter, the assessment of their property they get from the building inspector, counties are going to maintain those. The state will also require a copy for the ones with flood insurance. There's a one-page sheet in their policies called the flood declarations page. They would need to have that, and that information provides, you know, what's the degree of their coverage. It ensures they've got, you know, that they'll file a claim, and they can follow up, make sure to file a claim. So having that little bit of information, and for some people that have an elevation certificate, you know, that's required for people building in a floodplain, if they can provide that, that's also helpful. So there's a couple of things that they'll need to help the county to put the information together, submit to the state for review.
Okay, so after initial contact with FEMA, then the county or the state will contact the homeowner. And is that right? They just
Correct.
wait for that? They don't have
That's
to call anybody?
No,
All right,
they don't have to call anybody at this point, and we recognize that patience is going to be
It's a long process.
a difficult thing for everybody because of all the other stresses. But at this point, I think the key is for the residents in Wayne County, and that includes City of Goldsboro, the commitment has been made that the county and the city are going to apply for hazard mitigation funds for acquisition or elevation.
All right.
Now, there are actually some communities haven't made that decision yet that have been impacted by Matthew. But here, they have. It was done from day one. They started with it, and it was simply a matter of knowing that, then for the citizens at least, it's sort of like the counties and the cities got your back, and try to do what you can with your insurance, your FEMA, repair, get back in, do your cleanup. But you're not going to be left out, and the county will make every effort, you know, through notices and meetings to make them aware of it.
David Harris, we're out of time. Boy, that was a lot of information. And is there aside from FEMA, is there someone that if people needed more information, they could go somewhere, talk to somebody about it?
Well, they can.
I guess the best place to go is FEMA, though, wouldn't it be?
On the acquisition or
acquisition or elevation?
No, not FEMA. At this point, that is now a state. It's FEMA money. It's a state program.
State program.
That the money is going to be allocated directly to the county, and really that role is going to be through the county. Now, the person can call the planning department. Chip Crumpler is active in assembling that information, putting it together. Chip's familiar with the program. He was here during Hurricane Floyd. People can call my office. We are working now with the county on making sure we don't miss anything in this process that the county can participate in or the citizens can be aware of. And at this point, that's what we have. Now, when the application process starts, there will be a central point. People be able to call in, get information, follow up. Hey, did you receive this copy and that sort of thing. So when that, and quite frankly, Wayne, we are hoping that process is going to start this month.
All right.
I recognize almost half the month is gone, and Thanksgiving's at the end of it, but we are hoping that somehow that there will be a beginning of that process, start collecting information, and then maybe soon thereafter we would have a much more detailed picture of deadlines, forms,
And it's a long
things
process.
to fill out.
Long
Yes,
process.
yes.
All
It will take probably a month or longer. November, December, before a lot of that would, be able to assemble and put together. But at least it's underway.
Yep.
At least there's a commitment to do it.
Okay, we're out of time. David Harris with HSM and Associates Incorporated here in Goldsboro. I appreciate it. David, thank you so
Okay.
much for all that information.
Sure thing,
Good
Wayne.
stuff. Thank you. And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television on a Veterans Day Friday. Today, November 11th, 2016, formerly known as Armistice Day. It became Veterans Day in later years. Armistice Day from World War I, which the U.S. actually entered late in the war, late getting into it. We helped clean it up, though, and finish it out. So anyway, it became Veterans Day later, and the idea, of course, is to honor those veterans, honor all veterans. Those active duty and retired, as well as those who have passed. Now, and again, a reminder that Gateway, GWTA is no longer Gateway. It's Goldsboro Wayne Transportation Authority. GWTA is offering free rides to veterans if you will show simply your military ID or your DD-214 and a photo ID. You can ride the bus anywhere in Wayne County today, anywhere the bus normally goes in Goldsboro today and tomorrow, free of charge. Been doing that all week. Good grief, Charlie Brown.
What is this?
A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving party. This is next Saturday, a week from today. Tomorrow, rather. A week from tomorrow. And it's for ages 4 to 12, and it's $15 per child.
That knocks you out.
I know. That's what I get for being over 12.
But I can go.
Yeah, right. Okay, it says here that you can give the children a break from Turkey Day errands. If you have errands to run, maybe you have a little bit of shopping to do, take your 4 to 12 year of age child and give him $15 and send him over to the candy store. No, send him over to the
Arts Council.
Arts Council of Wayne County at the corner of Walnut and John Street. 102 North John is the address. They'd love to see you come by there and drop your child off. There's going to be lots of stuff for the child to do. It is a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving party. And then you go about your business getting that errands, running those errands, that shopping that you may need to be doing about this time of year. That make it really, really nice. And this is from 10 till noon. You're going to have to shop fast. 10 till noon, Saturday, November 19th. All right? What is that?
This is the community giveaway that will be held tomorrow from 10 until 3.
Uh-huh.
And items to be distributed include food, toiletries, clothes, shoes, household, school supplies, and more. And it's a school that's in Durham that is putting this on, and it's to help the Wayne County residents that were affected by Hurricane Matthew.
Ah, okay. And let's see. Where's it going to be?
It will be at the Branch Memorial Tabernacle at 500 Gully Street in Goldsboro.
All right. And does it say when?
This Saturday.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
You said that. Tomorrow.
From 10 until 3.
10 to 3 tomorrow at the Branch.
I think you forgot to go by Senior Center today and get your hearing checked.
Huh? What? What'd you say?
You know I had to throw that in there.
What? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Branch Memorial Tabernacle. 500 Gully Street, Goldsboro. All right. She gives me a hard time all the time. That's okay. That's okay. All right. The Christmas parade coming up December 3rd. We've got the Mount Olive Parade at 10, Fremont Parade at 1, Goldsboro Parade at 4 p.m. on December 3rd. That's a Saturday. The next day, December 4th, in Pikeville. Pikeville will have their Christmas parade at 3 p.m. And Eureka will have their Christmas parade on December 11th at 3 p.m. Now, here's the answer to today's trivia question. Which color, pardon me, which ball in pool or billiards is a solid purple? The answer is 4. 4. is the solid purple color. That's it for today. We're going to do this again bright and early Monday morning. Hope you're able to join us as I lose my voice. I left it around here somewhere. I'll find it in a minute. Anyway, have a great weekend. See you at the parade. So until Monday, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.